To welcome to the studio Yoon Ludwig Hammer. Congratulations on your first win of the event.
Thank you.
So let me ask you, what was the preparation going into this game? It seemed like just a very beautiful victory. I was very impressed with the finish of the game. It just seemed like a complete tactical massacre that White had to undergo. Take us through the beginning of the game. How much of this was opening preparation?
I played an opening I have never played before, thinking that after having a lost position in 12 moves with White, 2 games in a row, it couldn't possibly get worse. And so I played this Bishop C5. I was inspired by a game I saw last night. I was browsing the chess publishing website, and I noticed this idea, and that Kramnik had played it in Dortmund against Nepomniachtchi, and I thought, well, if Kramnik plays it, then he probably researched it really thoroughly, and so I thought, okay, I can play this, but I didn't actually do the job. I checked some of the main lines, and I assumed that, well, since Kramnik did it, it's probably okay. But already here, after b5, bishop b3 was the move in the Nepomniachtchi game. So bishop c2 is much more enterprising because it kind of forces black to stake a claim to the center with d5. And now when he played d4, I was already out of book, which is kind of embarrassing, but the thing is that there are some crazy lines starting with a4 instead of d4. There's a4, takes on e4, takes on b5, takes on f3, queen takes f3, e4, bishop takes, knight e5, queen e2, castles, and now if you take the rook, then knight d3 is very annoying.
Wow.
Because it kind of limits all of White's pieces. So instead of bishop takes a8, you go d4, and now bishop g4, queen c2, takes on e4, takes back. And this has been played in 4 games or something, right?
Oh, that's incredible.
And it's just, I mean, it goes beyond this, because knight f3 is the next move. Takes, bishop h3, takes on c5, takes on f1, takes back, queen d1 check, queen e1 to protect the bishop, and then queen takes f3, bishop e3, a takes b5, and I mean, still another 10 moves.
So you were looking at all of this last night?
Well, I mean, I wasn't really looking at it. I was just checking the games that had been played in this. And honestly, I don't think Black's position here is that good. I think this might, I mean, from what I could figure out, this position might very well just be good for White. But it's, I mean, I'm coming into the game surprising my opponent. I made sure that he doesn't play this with the black pieces.
Certainly.
So I thought it's a worthwhile risk. But the problem then being that when he played d4, reverting to the game, I didn't really know what was going on. I knew that this was one of the main lines, but I couldn't remember after what I played. Takes on e4, takes. Here, I couldn't remember what to do. I wanted to exchange the queens, but queen takes, rook takes, bishop g4, and I started getting concerned about f3. And I couldn't figure it out, and so I decided, okay, let's try to keep the queens instead. But I immediately regretted it, because I started to realize that after bishop g5 and then knight d2, White just gets a lot of pressure on the pawn on e4. So I was pretty pessimistic, but he was taking a lot of time to think, and then he unleashed bishop takes e4.
Was this a move you were anticipating?
I had not seen it at all. So having had that bad start with the first 2 games, I got a very defeatist attitude, and I just thought, oh my god, how could I not see this move? What is going on? I'm getting crushed again. This tournament is terrible. I mean, all those thoughts. But with hindsight, this was just a bad move. But also, after takes queen d5, I mean, I didn't have to play as aggressively as I did. I didn't even have to sacrifice the exchange. What I realized afterwards was that even rook b8, queen takes, bishop b7, queen e3, and now castles. I think, okay, I'm not better, probably. Well, the thing is, I could be better if he doesn't get rid of the queens. He's struggling to develop his queen side. So I kind of think like he has to go f4 and get the queens off. But then knight g6, takes. I have a beautiful diagonal. I have the square on f5. I can get my rooks into the game way quicker than him. I mean, I during the game, I regretted sacrificing the exchange because I started realizing that this is tremendous compensation for a pawn. But I got to check the computer outside here, and the computer says I played it like a genius.
Really?
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was some sort of like deep opening preparation with sacking the exchange, because the amount of counterplay you got is maybe what we call accidental compensation, where you didn't see bishop take e4 coming, but you just had so many resources afterwards.
Yeah. So castles?
So do you think his first like key mistake was bishop to e4 going into this queen d5 line?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Well, the computer told me so.
I see, okay. Yeah, we're not using computer analysis here, so it's hard to make conclusions.
Yeah, but here I really thought he should have gone bishop d4.
Instead of knight d2.
Yeah. Bishop d4, and then my problem is that c5, bishop takes e5, bishop b7. This is what I want to play. But unfortunately, he has bishop d6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I wasn't actually sure how to respond to bishop d4. But yeah, it's a cool position because I mean black is a queen exchange down in a reasonably symmetrical position. You wouldn't think that white is in this much trouble, but after knight d2, c5, it's very difficult for him to find any moves. Basically, his problem is always that if he retreats the queen, well, now it's even too late. But if he does something like queen e4, he's always getting hit by f5, f4, and then the attack just becomes so dangerous. So when I played c5, I thought he had to play b4, which is what he did. And I was so happy with this move, queen d7. I think this is a fantastic move.
Yeah, it looks like a very kind of subtle, quiet move.
Yeah, well, basically, I'm threatening knight c6. And it's a threat that's very difficult for him to face. And also, if I'm preventing bishop takes c5. Because if bishop takes c5, knight
That's
takes.
very true.
This should be pretty good for me. And so yeah, I mean here he was down to just 1 minute for 20-something minutes.
And this is a great situation to be in when you have so much pressure and so long time.
It's connected. He's spending so much time because he is under so much pressure. And he couldn't find a good move. He played queen e4. I started pushing my pawn, getting that one involved, even winning a piece back. So in addition to having a dominating position, now I'm not even material down. And after knight e4, the whole game has been surrounded, being about the white queen and whether black can capture it. So queen d5, I'm not taking the bishop. I want more. And now if knight takes c5, knight g6 traps the queen.
Wow. Oh, that's incredible, yeah. Queen has no squares.
So he had to play bishop takes. And once again, knight g6, rook f5. The queen is in trouble, I think it's fair to say. And now it's time to take back the piece. And I'm still controlling his rooks. This knight on d3 is doing a fantastic job of making sure that he never gets any sort of counterplay with what is the only good thing about his position is the rooks, but they cannot get involved. And after bishop d4, it's all about just getting some attack to the king.
Yeah, I was very impressed with the finale to this game. It seemed like every move was just a very strong threat, and the queen was just sort of like a punching bag, just running all over the place.
I mean, here I could have gone rook c5, but I really like the aesthetic of just going for the checkmate and also trapping the queen, and yeah, very beautiful finish, and probably one of the most fiery games of the tournament so far. Maybe not the most intentional sacrifice, but definitely worked out in your favor. Let me ask you, how do you cope with perhaps a slow start, not the best performance in the first two games? How do you sort of rebound and shift the momentum? Well, I have a special method of self-pity. But I think there's no easy answer to it. A friend of mine is also a sports person, and was kind of saying, you shouldn't be saying this stuff. You're putting yourself down. You're an athlete. You're a competitor. You're supposed to kind of strike back. But I'm unhappy with my play, but more I'm unhappy about my tension, if that makes sense. I don't think that my attitude after the game can kind of change the fact that I'm playing poorly.
Makes sense.
So my main problem is not that I'm having a bad result, it's that I'm playing poorly. And I don't think this game was a fix, because I did not see, there's so many things I didn't see, especially this bishop takes e4. Yes, it wasn't good, but I should still be aware of it.
It's true.
But at the end of the day, points is what matters. Now I'm back on 50%. This was just a huge game. Winning with the black pieces against a strong opponent in this fashion. I'm ready for the next rounds.
Very nice. And I do have one more question, because you are a pretty notorious streamer on chess.com these days, and I saw you playing in the Arena Kings tournament just a couple of days ago, I believe after the first round of the tournament. Do you plan to keep streaming during this event, maybe to blow off some steam?
No. Well, basically, I considered doing some Arena King tournaments, but those clash with the tournament here.
That's true. Yeah.
So I think I did my my last streaming from St. Louis.
Sure, and you do have a very clear fan base. We're taking a look at the Twitch chat here, and there have been the hammer emotes across the broadcast. Anything to say to your fans?
Well, thank you for the support, and I hope I can get another game like this. But this one was special.
Very nice. Well, I will let you go, and congratulations again, and best of luck in the later rounds.